The stars looked peaceful from the observation deck of mining station Juno 7. Commander Min-ho had seen this view 1,000 times during his 3 years hauling cargo between Earth and the asteroid belt. Tonight felt different somehow. The silence felt heavy, like the moment before a storm. His coffee floated beside him in zero gravity as he checked the shipping manifests. Another boring run tomorrow. Pick up refined metals from Juno 7, deliver them to Mars, then back to Earth. Same route, same schedule, same life. Min-ho sometimes wondered why he left Earth for this endless repetition. Then he remembered his daughter's face when he sent money home each month, and he knew why. The proximity alarm shattered the silence. Min-ho grabbed his coffee before it could spill and pulled up the sensor display. 300 contacts. His heart stopped. 300 ships just appeared at the edge of the system, emerging from faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. They were not human ships. The communication channel crackled to life. A voice spoke in flawless English, though the accent sounded strange and mechanical. Primitive species of Sol 3. You have contaminated the void with your presence. The Stellar Dominion has decided your expansion ends now. Withdraw to your homeworld or face elimination. Min-ho stared at the screen in disbelief. First contact. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries. They imagined peaceful meetings, cultural exchange, new friendships among the stars. Not this. Not a death sentence delivered with cold efficiency. The station commander, a woman named Park Jisoo, tried to respond. This is mining station Juno 7. We are a civilian facility. We mean no harm. Please, we can talk about this. The alien voice did not reply. Instead, the 300 ships began moving forward. Their weapons charged with energy signatures that made human sensors scream warnings. Min-ho knew what was coming. He had been a soldier once before he became a cargo pilot. He knew the look of an attack formation. All personnel evacuate now. Jisoo's voice screamed over the station intercom. This is not a drill. Get to the escape pods. Min-ho ran. The corridors filled with panicking workers. People who spent their days mining rocks in space, not soldiers trained for combat. Families lived on Juno 7. Children. His mind flashed to his own daughter back on Earth. These kids would never see their home again. The first blast hit the station's habitation ring. The explosion threw Min-ho against a wall. His ears rang. Alarms howled. The artificial gravity failed, and suddenly everyone was floating, tumbling, screaming. He grabbed a handrail and pulled himself toward the docking bay where his cargo ship waited. Another explosion. Then another. The aliens were not targeting military installations. They were killing everyone. Men, women, children. They did not care. To them, humans were just pests to exterminate. Min-ho reached his ship and sealed the airlock. Through the viewport, he watched Juno 7 die. Entire sections broke apart, spilling atmosphere and people into the void. He saw Jisoo's face on the communication screen for one moment, trying to send a final message to Earth before her section exploded. 15,000 people worked on Juno 7. Min-ho saved 12. 12 people crammed into a cargo ship designed for one pilot. He engaged the engines and ran, not looking back at the graveyard behind him. On Mars, Dr. Miran was studying bacteria when the news arrived. She worked in a sterile laboratory deep beneath the red planet's surface, examining microorganisms that could survive in extreme conditions. Her research seemed pointless now. Aliens had arrived and they were killing humans. The reports came in fragments. Juno 7 destroyed. Mining Station Series 4 gone. The civilian transport Harmony vaporized with 2,000 passengers. The aliens were not invading. They were exterminating. Myran pulled up the alien communications that Mars had intercepted. She was not a linguist, but the translation software was good enough. What she read made her blood freeze. The aliens called humans primitive infestation. They compared humanity to vermin, to disease, to something that needed cleaning. She dug deeper into the data, analyzing the alien biosignatures that human sensors had captured. Her training as a xenobiologist finally proved useful. The aliens had slow metabolisms, long lifespans, and extremely low genetic diversity. Their immune systems were weak. Their evolution had been stable for millions of years. Miran understood what this meant. These aliens came from paradise worlds, places where food was abundant, predators were few, and survival was easy. They never had to fight, never had to adapt, never had to struggle. They were perfect for their peaceful worlds. Humans were not perfect. Humans evolved on a planet that tried to kill them constantly. Ice ages, volcanic eruptions, diseases, famines, predators. Earth had thrown everything at humanity, and humanity survived by being tough, adaptable, and mean when cornered. She sent her analysis to Earth's military command with a simple message. They think we are weak. They are wrong. On Earth, General Dong-hyun read the reports from space with growing fury. He was old enough to remember the resource wars, the brutal conflicts that nearly destroyed humanity 50 years ago. Humans had finally united, finally stopped fighting each other, finally reached for the stars together, and now aliens arrived to crush them back down. His subordinates wanted to surrender. The alien fleet was too powerful. Human weapons were primitive in comparison. Earth's military could not win a conventional war. Every tactical analysis said the same thing. Resistance was suicide. Dong-hyun looked at the casualty reports. 15,000 dead at Juno 7, 3,000 at Series 4, 2,000 on the Harmony. All civilians. All killed without warning, without mercy, without hesitation. He thought about his granddaughter. She was 8 years old and dreamed of becoming an astronaut. What future would she have if humanity surrendered, living as prisoners on their own world, never touching the stars again? Or worse, what if the aliens decided even that was too much? What if they decided humans were too dangerous to keep alive? Dong-hyun made his decision. He activated Protocol Cornered Rat, a contingency plan developed during the darkest days of the resource wars. It was simple. When facing extinction, use any method, any tactic, any weapon to survive. No rules, no mercy, no surrender. He sent the activation code to every human ship, every military base, every colony. The message was clear. We fight. Far from Earth, at a lonely relay station, engineer Soo-jin watched the slaughter unfold on her sensor screens. She was alone out here, maintaining the communication equipment that kept human space connected. She had volunteered for this isolated posting because she liked being alone, liked the quiet, liked her machines. Now she watched humans die, and her machines were useless. No, not useless. Soo-jin was the best systems engineer in the fleet. She had hacked corporate networks for fun, cracked military encryption as a challenge, and built communication systems from spare parts. If human weapons could not stop the aliens, maybe human cleverness could. She began analyzing the alien communication protocols, their ship signatures, their network architecture. It should be impossible to hack an alien system. Different technology, different logic, different everything. Soo-jin did not care about impossible. She started working, her fingers flying across her keyboards, her mind racing through possibilities. Somewhere in the alien code there had to be a weakness. There always was. The war had begun. Humanity did not start it, but General Dong-hyun made a promise to himself as he watched Earth's fleets mobilize. Humanity would finish it. The aliens thought humans were primitive, weak, and easily crushed. They were about to learn why Earth's most dangerous creatures were not the strong ones. They were the desperate ones. 30 days passed since the aliens destroyed Juno 7. The Dominion fleet pushed deeper into human space, occupying every major installation beyond the asteroid belt. Their advance seemed unstoppable. Their ships were faster, their weapons stronger, their shields impenetrable. Every tactical simulation showed the same result. Human extinction within 6 months. Then something changed. Commander Min-ho stood on the bridge of his cargo hauler, now armed with makeshift weapons welded to its hull. Around him, 50 other civilian ships formed a loose cluster. Mining vessels, passenger transports, construction ships. None of them were warships. All of them carried weapons now. A Dominion cruiser appeared on sensors patrolling near an asteroid field. It was alone, confident in its superiority. Min-ho smiled grimly. Confidence was a weakness. All ships engage, he ordered. The 50 civilian ships scattered in every direction, attacking from different angles simultaneously. The Dominion cruiser's targeting systems could not decide which threat to prioritize. Its weapons fired, destroying 3 human ships, but 47 others kept coming. They swarmed like angry bees, each one firing crude kinetic weapons and missiles. The Dominion ship's shields held at first, but the constant barrage from multiple directions overloaded them. A mining ship rammed directly into the cruiser's engine section, detonating its fusion reactor in a suicide attack. The explosion consumed both ships, Minho watched the fireball fade. They lost 4 ships to destroy 1 alien cruiser. The math was terrible, but it was better than 0. And every pilot had volunteered. They all lost someone. They all wanted revenge. Target destroyed, Minho reported to command, moving to next coordinates. This was humanity's new strategy. They could not win clean battles, so they fought dirty. Swarm tactics, suicide runs, ambushes, hit-and-run attacks. The Dominion's elegant fleet formations became death traps when dozens of small ships attacked from chaos. On Mars, Dr. Miran worked in a secret laboratory, developing weapons that no ethical scientist should create. She was infecting samples with Earth bacteria, viruses, and fungi. Not to kill the aliens directly, their biology was too different, but to terrify them. She launched her first test. A canister filled with rapidly mutating Earth microorganisms was delivered to an abandoned human outpost that the Dominion had occupied. The aliens opened it thinking it was a supply cache. Within hours, their entire ship reported contamination. The bacteria spread through their ventilation systems, growing in thick mats of colorful mold. The aliens panicked. Their medical systems were designed for sterile environments. They had no experience with aggressive, fast-mutating microorganisms. The ship quarantined itself. Then another infected ship quarantined. Then another. Soon, 20 Dominion vessels were out of action. Not because humans destroyed them, but because the aliens were too afraid of contamination to use them. Myran watched the results and felt sick. She was using nature itself as a weapon. But then she remembered the children on Juno 7, and her guilt faded. The aliens started this. She was just making sure humanity survived to finish it. Lieutenant Sung Ho had been in prison when the war started. He was serving 10 years for hacking corporate systems and stealing data. General Dong Hyun offered him a choice: stay in prison or fight for humanity. Sung Ho chose to fight, bringing his criminal mind to military tactics. His first proposal was called the Kessler Strategy. Take old satellites, space junk, and destroyed ships. Spread them in orbit around Dominion-occupied installations. Create debris fields so dense that nothing large could pass through safely. The Dominion's massive warships relied on clear space for their perfect formations. When they tried to navigate through the debris fields, their shields could not stop thousands of small impacts. Some ships lost navigation. Others suffered hull breaches. Their beautiful fleet tactics became impossible. Sung Ho watched a Dominion dreadnought try to force its way through one of his debris fields. The ship's shields sparked and failed. Small pieces of metal moving at orbital speeds punched through the hull like bullets. The dreadnought limped away, damaged but alive. Not enough, Sung Ho muttered. We need bigger rocks. He began planning his next trap. Engineer Su Jin made history by becoming the first human to hack an alien computer system. It took her 20 days of constant work, surviving on caffeine pills and determination. The alien code was completely different from human programming, but patterns were patterns. Logic was logic. She found the gaps. Her first hack was simple. She injected false sensor data into a Dominion patrol group. The aliens saw phantom human ships attacking from coordinates where nothing existed. They wasted ammunition firing at empty space, revealing their real positions to hidden human observers. Working with a teenage hacker named Jin Woo, Su Jin expanded her network intrusion. Jin Woo was only 17, but his skills were incredible. Together, they created a virus that made Dominion AIs doubt their own data. Ship computers started reporting contradictory information. Crew became confused, and orders arrived late or not at all. The Dominion realized they were compromised, but they could not find all of Su Jin's backdoors. She was too good, and Jin Woo kept creating new ones faster than the aliens could close them. How does it feel? Jin Woo asked Su Jin one night. Knowing we are fighting a war inside their computers while people die in space? Su Jin looked at her screens. It feels like winning. Every ship we confuse is a ship that can't kill humans. Keep working. Medic Na Young worked in a military hospital on Luna, treating wounded soldiers from every battle. She noticed something interesting. Human soldiers healed faster than medical textbooks predicted. Injuries that should take months to recover from were healing in weeks. She studied the Dominion biodata that Miran had shared. The aliens had slow metabolisms and even slower healing. A wound that would sideline a human for a week would disable an alien for a month or more. Young developed new medical protocols based on this discovery. Aggressive treatments, stem cell therapy, artificial tissue grafts. She got wounded soldiers back into combat faster than the Dominion thought possible. Some humans fought, were wounded, healed, and fought again multiple times while alien soldiers were still recovering from their first injury. "We are not just fighting them," Nayung told her medical staff. "We are outlasting them. Every day we survive is a day we get stronger while they get weaker." Captain Bora commanded a strange ship called the Silent Ghost. It was built from a hollowed asteroid, fitted with stolen Dominion stealth technology and human weapons. Her ship could hide in plain sight, looking like a natural rock floating in space. She used this advantage mercilessly. The Silent Ghost would drift near Dominion supply convoys, wait until the guards passed, then attack the defenseless cargo ships. Bora never killed civilian crews if they surrendered, but she destroyed every piece of military equipment she found. The Dominion started calling her the Void Wraith. They assigned extra guards to every convoy, pulled ships from frontline duty for escort missions, and spread their forces thin trying to protect their supply lines. Bora smiled when she heard this. Making the enemy paranoid was almost as good as destroying their ships. 6 weeks into the war, the Dominion deployed their pacification fleet. 100 dreadnoughts, each larger than any human ship, each carrying enough firepower to destroy a city. Their target was Mars, humanity's largest colony outside Earth. General Dong Hyun made the hardest decision of his life. He ordered the evacuation of children only. Everyone else would stay and fight. Mars had 2 million people. They saved 50,000 children. The rest prepared to die. The Battle of Mars lasted 6 weeks. The Dominion expected to win in 6 hours. They were wrong. Every dome on Mars became a fortress. Every tunnel became a kill zone. Every citizen became a soldier. Humans used Mars's lower gravity to fight in ways the aliens could not predict, jumping impossible distances, using terrain the Dominion's heavy armor could not navigate. The Dominion used orbital bombardment. Humans retreated into deep tunnels and kept fighting. The Dominion sent ground troops. Humans ambushed them in enclosed spaces where numbers did not matter. The Dominion tried to starve them out. Humans had food stockpiles for years. Dr. Miran died during the Battle of Mars. Her laboratory took a direct hit from orbital bombardment. Her last transmission to Earth contained all her research data and a simple message. "You wanted to exterminate pests. Congratulations, you created monsters." When Mars finally fell, the Dominion held a dead rock full of empty tunnels. They lost 47 dreadnoughts, 50,000 troops, and 6 weeks of time. The surviving Dominion soldiers were broken psychologically. They had never experienced such savage resistance. The Dominion advance stopped. They needed to regroup, to understand what went wrong, to figure out how a primitive species was making them bleed for every meter of space. Commander Minho received new orders. The swarm tactics were working. Expand them. Train more pilots. Build more ships. The Dominion wanted a clean war. Humanity would give them chaos. The war was evolving. Humanity was adapting faster than the aliens could respond. And in the depths of space, Engineer Sujin smiled as she planted more viruses in Dominion networks. The real fight was just beginning. 6 months into the war, the Dominion controlled every major human installation beyond Earth's orbit. On paper, they were winning. In reality, they were bleeding from 1,000 cuts. Everywhere they went, humans attacked from nowhere, destroyed their supplies, and vanished like ghosts. For the first time in their long history, the Dominion felt fear. Dr. Sang-min was a physicist who had spent his career studying faster-than-light travel. Now he worked on something the University Ethics Board would never approve. He called it the dirty FTL drive. It was unstable, dangerous, and violated several physics safety principles. It was also fast and nearly impossible to track. "This will kill you," he warned the pilots who volunteered to test it. "The drive creates unpredictable spatial distortions. You might arrive at your destination. You might arrive somewhere else. You might not arrive at all." The pilots looked at each other. A woman named Hyo Jin, barely 16 years old, stepped forward. "My parents died on Juno 7. I will take the risk." 20 others volunteered within minutes. Sang-min felt sick, but he installed the drives anyway. War demanded terrible choices. The first test was a success. Hyo-jin's fighter jumped 3,000 light-years in seconds, struck a Dominion supply depot, and jumped back before the aliens could respond. She vomited from the spatial distortions and could barely stand, but she was alive. And the mission succeeded. "Again," she said, wiping her mouth. "I can do it again." Sang-min created more dirty FTL drives. Soon human ships were striking targets deep in Dominion space, places the aliens thought were completely safe from the war. Sergeant Hyun-sik led a special forces team on a mission that military command called Operation Nightmare. They used the dirty FTL drives to land on a Dominion supply world, a peaceful planet that had not seen war in 10,000 years. His orders were clear. Do not kill civilians. Do destroy everything military. Hyun-sik's team moved through the alien city at night. They sabotaged fuel depots, destroyed manufacturing plants, and hacked communication systems. The aliens on this world had no idea how to fight. They stood in confusion while human soldiers destroyed their infrastructure. Before leaving, Hyun-sik left a message painted on a military building. Your leaders brought war to our children. Now you know how it feels to be afraid. The Dominion population panicked. If humans could strike this world, they could strike anywhere. Nowhere was safe. The Dominion government tried to calm their citizens, but the fear spread like disease. Commander Minho's fleet had evolved into something the Dominion could not understand. They stopped building traditional warships entirely. Instead, they hollowed out asteroids, attached engines and weapons, and created rock ships that looked like natural objects until they opened fire. A Dominion patrol would scan an asteroid field, see only asteroids, and pass through safely. Then 50 of those asteroids would activate weapons and engines, revealing themselves as human warships. By the time the aliens realized the trap, half their patrol was destroyed. The Dominion started avoiding asteroid fields entirely, which meant abandoning huge sections of space. Territory they claimed to control was actually full of hidden human forces. We do not need to beat them, Minho told his captains. We just need to make every victory cost more than they want to pay. Pilot Hyo Jin became humanity's best fighter ace at age 16. She flew missions that killed other pilots, survived encounters that should have been impossible, and kept volunteering for more. Her fellow pilots called her insane. She called herself motivated. During one mission, she fought 6 Dominion fighters alone. Her ship was damaged, weapons failing, life support critical. Instead of retreating, she rammed the lead Dominion fighter, destroyed it, and used the explosion's momentum to reach an asteroid where she made emergency repairs. Using spare parts from her damaged ship, she flew back to base in a fighter held together by emergency patches and determination. When mechanics asked how she survived, she said simply, I remembered what they did to my parents. Dying was not an option. The Dominion put a bounty on her the first time they ever targeted an individual human. It was a mistake. Every human pilot saw that bounty as a challenge. If one teenage girl scared the Dominion that much, what could 100 pilots do? Engineer Su Jin and hacker Jin Woo achieved something incredible. They gained complete access to the Dominion military network for 48 hours. Everything. Fleet positions, strategic plans, supply routes, communication codes. Everything. They downloaded it all and immediately shared it with every human commander. For 2 days, humanity could see the entire Dominion war machine as if it were transparent. Captain Bora used this intelligence to orchestrate the Week of Shadows, 17 coordinated strikes on Dominion military installations across 7 star systems. The attacks happened simultaneously, each one hitting exactly when guards were changing shifts, when shields were down for maintenance, when commanders were sleeping. The precision was impossible. The Dominion thought humans had developed precognition, that they could see the future. The truth was simpler and more frightening. Humans had infiltrated every level of Dominion military operations. The Dominion started changing their codes daily, installing new security, isolating their networks. But Su Jin and Jin Woo were always one step ahead. For every door the Dominion closed, the hackers found 2 more. They are so used to trusting their technology, Jin Woo said, his fingers dancing across keyboards. They never learned to think like criminals. We grew up on Earth, we know how to cheat. On Earth, Counselor Acha addressed the United Government. The war was going better than anyone expected, but humanity was running out of resources. Earth's infrastructure was failing. Food production was dropping. The blockade was slowly strangling them. We have 2 options, Acha said. We can wait for the Dominion to rebuild their strength and crush us. Or we can take a risk that might end the war. She proposed Operation Nightmare, simultaneous attacks on multiple Dominion homeworlds. Not to conquer them or kill civilians, but to prove that nowhere was safe. The vote was close. Many council members feared it would provoke the Dominion into using planet-killer weapons. Others argued that waiting guaranteed death anyway. The proposal passed by a single vote. General Dong Hyun coordinated the operation personally. 20 missions, each using dirty FTL drives, each targeting symbolic locations on Dominion homeworlds. Cultural sites, military headquarters, government buildings. Every target was chosen to maximize psychological impact while minimizing civilian casualties. 18 of the 20 missions succeeded. 2 ships were lost in FTL jumps, vanishing into unknown space. But the 18 that succeeded struck simultaneously, proving that humanity could reach anywhere at any time. A 5,000-year-old cultural memorial was destroyed. A Dominion admiral's headquarters was leveled. A military academy that had trained officers for millennia was bombed. In each case, the humans delivered their payload and tried to escape. Most succeeded, some did not. Sergeant Hyun-sik's team was captured during one raid. The Dominion put them on trial as war criminals and broadcast the proceedings across their entire territory. The aliens wanted to show that humans were terrorists, barbarians, monsters. During his final statement before execution, Hyun-sik looked directly at the camera. "You call us primitive. You call us weak. But we survived ice ages, plagues, and famines you cannot imagine. We crawled from caves to starships through blood and suffering. You were given paradise. We earned every inch of progress. That is why you will lose. You do not know how to fight for survival. We have never known anything else." The execution was carried out. The broadcast ended, but Hyun-sik's words spread through human space like fire. Surrender was never mentioned again. The Dominion expected the execution to demoralize humanity. Instead, it enraged them. Mining stations named ships after Hyun-sik. Military units adopted his final words as their motto. His face appeared on propaganda posters. Never surrender. Never forget. The Dominion Council met an emergency session. The war was supposed to last weeks. It had lasted months and showed no sign of ending. They had lost thousands of ships, suffered attacks on their home worlds, and faced rebellion from subject species who saw humanity's example and wanted their own freedom. Some council members wanted to negotiate. Others demanded total war. The debate was vicious, their first real internal conflict in millennia. In the end, the hardliners won. They authorized the unthinkable, the use of planet-killer weapons. Their target was Earth itself. Commander Min-ho received the intercepted communication. He had 72 hours before a fleet of 200 Dominion warships reached Earth, carrying weapons that could turn the planet into a radioactive tomb. He broadcast to all human forces. "This is it. Every ship, every weapon, every last one of us. We are going home." Across human space, every vessel turned toward Earth. Cargo haulers, mining ships, passenger transports, warships, everything. They all pointed home. The Dominion was bringing death to humanity's homeworld. Humanity was bringing everything they had to stop them. The largest space battle in human history was about to begin. Earth's moon had been transformed into a massive weapon. Every crater held hidden railgun batteries. Every mining tunnel concealed missile launchers. The lunar surface looked peaceful from orbit, but it was a loaded gun pointed at anyone who approached Earth. General Dong Hyun stood in Earth's command center, watching the Dominion fleet approach. 200 warships, each carrying planet-killer weapons. Against them, humanity had 60 combat vessels and whatever civilian ships could be armed in time. The math was simple and brutal. "We cannot win this battle," his second-in-command said quietly. Dong Hyun looked at the image of Earth on the main screen. Blue oceans, white clouds, green continents. 10 billion people. His granddaughter was down there, probably scared, probably wondering if her grandfather could save her. "We do not need to win," Dong Hyun replied. "We just need to make them understand what it costs to threaten us." He opened a channel to all human forces. 70 years ago, we almost destroyed ourselves in the resource wars. We learned something from that nightmare. When humans fight each other, everybody loses. But when humans unite against a common threat, we are unstoppable. Today, we are not Americans or Chinese or Africans or Europeans. We are not divided by nation or religion or politics. Today, we are human, and we are going to show these aliens what that means. The Dominion fleet entered the solar system. Their commander, High Admiral Thel Quinn, broadcast a final ultimatum. "Primitive species, this is your last chance. Surrender now and we will spare your homeworld. Resist and Earth dies." General Dong Hyun's response was brief. "Come and take it." The battle began. The Dominion fleet advanced in perfect formation, shields at maximum, weapons charged. They expected desperate human ships to attack in waves, to be destroyed one by one like all the previous battles. Instead, the moon opened fire. Thousands of railgun rounds launched simultaneously from hidden positions across the lunar surface. The projectiles were simple chunks of metal accelerated to incredible speeds. No shields, no guidance systems, just kinetic energy. The Dominion's energy shields were designed to stop plasma and lasers, not solid metal moving at a fraction of light speed. 15 Dominion ships were destroyed in the first volley. 20 more were damaged. The perfect formation broke apart as ships tried to avoid the continuing barrage. Commander Minho led the human fleet into the chaos. His rock ships, hidden among real asteroids, activated and struck from unexpected angles. The Dominion tried to target them, but their sensors could not distinguish human ships from natural rocks until weapons fire began. All ships, swarm pattern Delta, Minho ordered. The human vessels scattered, each one moving unpredictably, attacking different targets. The Dominion's AI targeting systems could not handle the chaos. They were designed for elegant battles between organized fleets, not for this madness. Captain Bora's silent ghost appeared from nowhere, rammed a Dominion cruiser at full speed, and self-destructed. The explosion took out 3 nearby alien ships. Bora and her crew died instantly, but their sacrifice created a gap in the Dominion formation. Lieutenant Seong Ho watched from his command ship as his latest trap activated. He had seeded thousands of autonomous drones throughout the solar system, each one pretending to be space debris. When the Dominion fleet passed through, the drones attacked, targeting engines and weapons systems. The drones were cheap and simple, but there were so many of them. The Dominion spent ammunition destroying threats that cost almost nothing to build. Human tactics were economically devastating. Pilot Hyojin led her fighter wing on a suicide mission. 20 fighters against a Dominion dreadnought. They knew it was suicide. They launched anyway. Her wing attacked from every direction, forcing the dreadnought to split its defensive fire. Hyojin's fighter was hit, her engine failing, her cockpit breached. She was dying and she knew it. Instead of ejecting, she aimed her dying fighter at the dreadnought's reactor core and pushed the throttle to maximum. The explosion was visible from Earth. One teenage girl had destroyed a warship that cost the Dominion decades to build. Her last words over the radio were simple. For Mom and Dad. 19 other fighters followed her example. The Dominion dreadnought broke apart, and 20 human pilots died as heroes. But the Dominion fleet kept coming. Too many ships. Too many weapons. Humanity was fighting brilliantly, but they were still losing. On the ground, Medic Na-young prepared hospitals for casualties. She knew what was coming if the Dominion broke through. Orbital bombardment. Cities destroyed. Billions dead. She kept working anyway. Organizing supplies, training volunteers, preparing for the impossible task of saving people from planet-killer weapons. Why are we doing this? A young nurse asked. If they break through, none of this matters. Na-young looked at her. Because humans do not quit. Even when it is hopeless, we keep trying. That is our strength. That is why we will survive. Engineer Su Jin and hacker Jin Woo launched their final attack on Dominion networks. They released a virus that infected every AI system simultaneously, making ship computers report contradictory data. Dominion vessels received orders that did not make sense, sensor readings that were impossible, tactical data that was clearly wrong. Some Dominion commanders trusted their instincts over their computers and kept fighting. Others hesitated, confused by the chaos. That hesitation cost them. Dr. Sang-min activated his ultimate weapon. He had built it in secret, not telling even General Dong-hyun. It was a bomb using dirty FTL technology to create a space-time rupture. Detonating it would tear a hole in reality itself, destroying everything nearby, possibly including Earth. It was a doomsday weapon. A threat so terrible that even using it meant suicide. Sang-min placed 20 of these devices throughout the solar system, each one broadcasting its presence on all frequencies. The Dominion's sensors detected them immediately. Their science officers analyzed the readings and realized what they meant. If the Dominion fired their planet killers, humans would detonate space-time bombs that would destroy both species. Mutual extinction. The Dominion fleet hesitated. In that moment of hesitation, Su Jin activated her masterpiece. She had been infiltrating Dominion civilian networks for months, not just military systems. Now she broadcast footage to every Dominion homeworld, every civilian, every family. The broadcast showed human children, families, art and music, culture and dreams, the people the Dominion planned to exterminate. Not soldiers, not threats, just people trying to live. On Dominion worlds, civilians watched and felt something they had never experienced: guilt. Their government told them humans were dangerous monsters, but the broadcast showed beings just like them, with families and hopes and fears. Protests erupted on Dominion homeworlds. Millions of civilians demanding their government end the war. The Dominion Military Command received conflicting orders from their political leaders. Some ships turned back. Others refused to fire. The chain of command collapsed. High Admiral Thel Quinn watched his fleet fall apart. Some ships retreated. Others sat idle, crews refusing orders. His perfect military machine was breaking because its own people turned against the war. General Dong Hyun saw the chaos and made a risky decision. He opened a direct channel to Thel Quinn. "Admiral, you have lost, not because we beat you in battle, but because your people will not support genocide. You can retreat now with honor, or we can continue until both our species are destroyed. Choose." Thel Quinn looked at his status displays. Half his fleet was combat ineffective. Human forces were still fighting despite catastrophic losses. The planet killer weapons were armed, but the crews were refusing to fire. And if he forced them to fire, the humans would detonate those space-time bombs and destroy everything. He had no good options. He chose the least terrible one. All Dominion forces cease fire. Retreat to Rally Point Gamma. I'm requesting immediate ceasefire negotiations with the human government. The Battle of Earth ended. Humanity had lost 40 ships out of 60. Earth's orbital infrastructure was destroyed. The moon was cratered from weapon impacts. Millions of people were evacuated from coastal cities expecting bombardment, but Earth survived. Humanity survived. Commander Minho floated in the wreckage of his ship waiting for rescue. Around him, the debris field glittered in the sunlight, a graveyard of ships from both sides. He thought about all the people who died to win this battle. Bo-Ra, Hyojin, thousands of others they won, but the cost was terrible. General Dong Hyun addressed Earth's population. "The battle is over. The Dominion has requested negotiations. We are not celebrating yet. This war is not finished until we have peace with honor. Until every human is safe. Until the galaxy knows that we are not prey." He paused, then added words that would define humanity's future. "They came to our home to kill us. They failed. Now we will teach them something they forgot in their 50,000 years of empire. Never declare war on a species that refuses to die." 3 months after the Battle of Earth, the Dominion Council sent ambassadors to request formal peace negotiations. They expected to discuss terms, to find compromise, to restore order to the galaxy. General Dong Hyun met them with a single word: no. The Dominion ambassadors looked confused. "You refuse negotiations?" "I refuse your version of negotiations," Dong Hyun replied. "For 50,000 years you dictated terms to every species you encountered. Not this time. You started this war. You attacked our civilians without warning. You tried to exterminate us. Now you will accept our terms, not negotiate them." For the first time in their history, the Stellar Dominion sat on the losing side of a peace conference. Counselor HFY led the human delegation. She was not a diplomat by training. Before the war, she worked as a teacher on Mars. But she survived the Battle of Mars, watched Dr. Miran die, and helped evacuate children while their parents stayed to fight. She understood what this war cost humanity. "These are our demands," HFY said, placing a data tablet on the conference table. "First, complete withdrawal of all Dominion forces from human space, including territories claimed before the war. Second, reparations. You will transfer technology, resources, and reconstruction aid equal to the damage you caused. Third, full recognition of humanity as a sovereign species with territorial rights. Fourth, release of all captured humans and return of all recoverable remains. Fifth, full disclosure of all Dominion military capabilities and locations." The Dominion ambassador, a being named Veltar, read the demands in shock. "These terms are impossible. Our council will never accept complete disclosure of military assets. You are asking us to make ourselves vulnerable." HFY leaned forward. "You made us vulnerable. You attacked us when we were weak and scattered. Now you are weak and scattered. Consider yourself lucky we are not demanding your extermination. We could do it. We proved that at Earth. Velthar had no response. The truth was undeniable. Humanity had fought the greatest empire in the galaxy to a standstill. If the war continued, both sides would die, but the Dominion would die first. I will present these terms to my council, Velthar said quietly. Commander Minho oversaw the Dominion withdrawal from human space. He stood on the bridge of a captured alien vessel, watching Dominion ships leave one by one. Each ship that departed was scanned, documented, and tracked. Humanity would never be caught unprepared again. A Dominion captain contacted him during the withdrawal. Commander Minho, I have a question. How did you defeat us? We had superior technology, superior numbers, superior everything. How did a primitive species win? Minho thought about Juno 7, about the children dying in decompression, about the 15,000 people he could not save. You called us primitive. That was your first mistake. We are not primitive. We are experienced. We evolved on a planet that tried to kill us every day. We survived ice ages and asteroid impacts. We survived plagues that killed half our population. We survived each other. You evolved on paradise worlds where survival was easy. When we fight with everything we learned from 10,000 years of struggling to exist. You fight with textbooks and tactics developed in peace. That is why you lost. The Dominion captain had no reply. Engineer Su Jin became humanity's first director of cyber warfare. Her job was simple: maintain access to Dominion networks just in case. The Dominion knew about it. They protested. They tried to block her. Nothing worked. How do you keep hacking us? A frustrated Dominion security expert asked during one communication. Su Jin smiled. Because you assume there are rules. You build security based on what should be possible. We build attacks based on what we can make possible. You follow order. We embrace chaos. That is why I will always be inside your systems. Jin Wu, now 19, worked with Su Jin to maintain humanity's cyber advantage. Together, they were legends in human space and nightmares to the Dominion. Every alien computer system was potentially compromised. Every secure communication might have human ears listening. The Dominion learned to live with permanent surveillance by the species they once tried to exterminate. Pilot Hyojin was buried with full military honors on Luna. 50,000 people attended her funeral, including General Donghyun. She was 16 when she died. She destroyed 7 Dominion warships. Her final attack on the Dreadnought became required study at every military academy. At her memorial, a plaque was installed with her call sign and a simple message. She fought not because she hated what was in front of her, but because she loved what was behind her. 10,000 other names were added beside hers. The memorial grew every day as more casualties were confirmed. Medic Nayoung opened a hospital that treated both human and Dominion patients. Some humans protested. How could she help the aliens who tried to kill them? Nayoung's response was simple. The war is over. If we want peace, we must learn to heal, not just fight. Some Dominion patients were grateful. Others felt ashamed, unable to look at the humans who saved their lives after their species tried to commit genocide. Nayoung treated them all equally, because that was what doctors did. Dr. Sang Min destroyed the space-time weapons publicly, broadcasting the destruction to prove humanity was serious about peace, but some suspected he kept the blueprints hidden somewhere. When reporters asked, he smiled and said nothing. Let the Dominion wonder. Let them fear. Captain Bora was mourned as a hero. Her sacrifice created the opening that allowed humanity to survive the Battle of Earth. Ships were named after her. Children learned her story in school. Her crew was given posthumous medals. Sergeant Yun-Sik's final words became humanity's unofficial motto. We earned every inch of progress through blood and suffering. The phrase appeared on military uniforms, government buildings, and spacecraft hulls. It was a reminder and a warning. 5 years after the war ended, humanity controlled territory in 20 star systems. Some were new colonies. Others were former Dominion territories that requested human protection. Species that had been conquered by the Dominion millennia ago were inspired by humanity's example and demanded their own freedom. The Dominion was collapsing, not from military defeat but from internal rebellion. Subject species saw that the mighty could fall. They wanted the same independence humanity had fought for. Some Dominion species tried to adapt, learning from human methods. They studied human history, Trying to understand how a species survived so many extinctions, they developed new tactics based on chaos and unpredictability. Others grew bitter, plotting revenge, waiting for humanity to show weakness. These groups formed terrorist cells, striking at human colonies, trying to restart the war. Neither group forgot the central lesson. Underestimating humans was fatal. Admiral Min Ho, promoted after the war, gave a speech at the memorial for fallen humans. He was 48 years old now, with gray in his hair and scars on his body. He had watched thousands die. He had ordered suicide missions. He had survived when better people did not. They called us weak, he told the assembled crowd. They called us primitive. They thought our short lives and fragile bodies made us easy prey. They learned the truth too late. We are humanity. We evolved on a planet that tried to kill us in every possible way. We survived ice ages, supervolcanoes, asteroid impacts, plagues, and each other. We are not the strongest species. We are not the smartest. But we are the most stubborn. We refuse to quit. We refuse to die. And any species foolish enough to threaten us will learn what 10,000 years of survival on a death world teaches. You do not extinct the humans. The humans extinct you? The crowd stood silent for a moment. Then applause erupted, lasting for minutes. 30 years later, humanity met a new alien civilization. The newcomers approached cautiously, almost fearfully. Their anthropologist explained why. Every species in the galaxy knows your story now. The primitives who fought the greatest empire and won. The Deathworlders who turned desperation into victory. There is a saying in 100 languages, never declare war on humans. They are the only species crazy enough to win with nothing but determination. The alien ambassador paused, then added carefully, we come in peace. We very much prefer peace. Earth's ambassador, a young woman named Rin, who was born during the war, smiled warmly. We prefer peace too. We learned what war costs, but we also learned that peace must be built on respect, not fear. Welcome to human space. Let us build something better together. Humanity had secured its place among the stars, not through conquest, but through proving a simple truth. They were survivors. They adapted, evolved, and overcame every challenge. In schools across human space, children learned about the war. They learned about Minho, Miran, Donghyun, Sujin, Sungho, Nayang, Jinwoo, Bora, Hyojin, Hyunsik, and thousands of others who sacrificed everything. They learned the most important lesson. Freedom was not given. It was earned. And humanity earned its freedom by showing the galaxy what a species from a death world could do, when survival was at stake. In museums and memorials, the same message was carved. Never forget. Never again. Humanity remembered the cost of war. They remembered the children who died on Juno 7. They remembered Mars burning. They remembered Earth almost dying. And because they remembered, they were ready. Every human colony had defenses. Every ship carried weapons. Every generation learned how to fight. The galaxy learned its lesson too. There were dangerous species in the universe. There were species with advanced technology and ancient empires. But the deadliest species was the one that evolved on a planet where survival was never guaranteed, where every day was a fight against extinction. Humanity was that species. And they would never forget what it took to survive. The war ended not with humanity's extinction, but with their triumph. The Dominion learned too late what it meant to declare war on a species that viewed extinction as just another problem to solve. Other civilizations watched and learned. Some became friends. Some became allies. None made the same mistake the Dominion made, because now everyone knew. You did not threaten humanity. You did not attack their families. You did not try to exterminate them. If you did, you would face the deadliest species in existence, not because they were born deadly, but because the universe made them that way. One disaster at a time, and humanity never forgot who they were. Survivors, fighters, the species that refused to die. That was their story. That was their warning. That was their promise to the galaxy. Leave us in peace and we will be peaceful. Threaten us, and you will learn why Earth's predators learned to fear the hairless apes who conquered a death world through sheer stubborn determination. The galaxy remembered. Humanity made sure of it.